Yo, 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 we're back. We're here. We were gone, but now we're here. It was 1 year, and now it's another
baby.
year.
Gone, now we're here.
It's time. New year, new me.
A whole year passed.
You thought we might have been gone forever, but you can't stop us. We're back. We're powerful. We have We have magic
Some
powers.
Twitter users would say, I thought the podcast quietly died out. But you were wrong.
Yeah.
You were wrong.
If we're ever going to die out,
Get off that Twitter.
it's not going to be quiet. It's going to be loud. And
It's going to be so loud.
such a loud dying.
You'll never hear
gonna be
the
loud.
end of the post.
It's gonna be loud.
Us quitting.
It's gonna be proud. It's gonna
We'll
be.
have a whole dedicated episode talking about why we're quitting. And it'll be 3 hours long.
7 hours long.
So
Just
be ready.
You be ready. But yeah, we're back. Two Full Podcast is back. And not only is it back, it's
baby.
it's season 2. What?
It's refreshed, rebranded.
What is
Just
this?
a whole new
Nani?
world.
We had time to think about our ways.
If you were a listener thinking, I want more of the same, no more of the same.
No more of the same. Or is it the same? We don't know.
All
you will
new.
know. We're recording
It's like
this.
the new Coke.
Yeah.
This is the new Too Full.
Exactly. And then when you hate it, we'll go back. And then the original Coke will
Exactly.
be just as good. Before we get into talks about what is new and what is old, how have you guys been?
All right.
Oh my goodness. All-encompassing question.
Yeah.
I've been all
Phil.
right. Hi. I've been okay. I've been cool. I've been chill like a cucumber. Living life to the fullest.
The big question, I think, for Phil is, are you still in March? Have you moved to April?
I've moved to January. It's pretty good. It's a
you
reset.
skipped.
What?
You skipped.
You came to
Yeah,
our world.
I did. It's just once that New Year's bell hit and I saw the fireworks, my mind just, like Carrie Ann Moss in The Matrix, in the close-up where she, gets downloaded that helicopter thing with the eyes.
Yeah.
And I'm back.
It's insane.
Speaking
Back,
of which,
baby.
while we were gone here, we did a thing on the other podcast that is long dead, that died very loudly, called the Matrix Minute. We did we did some rumors and some rumors and some predictions of the Matrix 4, the
Special sauce.
new sequel.
sauce.
Check it out. It's in the link.
Yeah.
It was a very saucy episode.
The
Christmas
Matrix
year. Yeah.
Minute podcast. Good stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the Matrix Minute.1. So I heard that's the URL, something like that.
Yeah. It's true.
Sometimes it changes.
Yeah. Sometimes
though.
for Phil, sometimes it does change.
For Phil, it does.
I mean, what about you, Jake? I know humanity has changed the calendar year from 2020 to 21, but I don't think the universe cares for such human matters, and it
universe, I
just
think,
carries on in its
I just want the universe to be nice and kind this year. That's all I want.
Be nice, kind, thoughtful.
Yeah.
Just love. I want the universe to love back. That's all I want.
Just love back.
No hate, no destruction. Speaking of which, Phil was talking about the fireworks. Interestingly enough, for those who don't know, there was an earthquake, a bad one, in Croatia at the end of, just before 2021, the final present of 2020.
Yeah.
And it was a bad one. And I even felt it up here in the north.
It was a bad earthquake.
North Country.
And speaking of that, there was also this, Phil was talking about the fireworks, right? And interestingly enough, there was a little movement here for people to not do fireworks for the New Year's, because of all this stuff, the stress and the PTSD and stuff. And I agree with that. I think that, that this was the year to not do them. But, obviously people still did them. But I've been okay, honestly. I had a pretty good half of the holiday until, life finds a way to make you do things.
Yeah, on very on-holiday things.
Exactly, very unholiday things. But the first half was great, it was amazing. It was like normal life.
I will have a normal life.
Relax.
For a
I'm
little
okay.
while.
I think 2021 is honestly feeling not too bad.
That's good.
Not too
That's
bad.
good to hear, boys. That's it.
2021 is going to be a thing.
I feel like if anything...
Don't jinx it, though. Let's just pretend that we didn't
Well,
say
no, I'm not
that.
jinxing. I'm not jinxing. I'm just saying
Jinking.
that,
Is that a new dance?
Don't jink.
No jink for me.
That's what Velma does.
I wanted to say that a good thing to keep in mind is sometimes when you do have a new year roll around, you do kind of try to do things at least differently or have a little bit of a different perspective. So that does help, because you kind of at least mentally get rid of some of that saturation, like mid-December, you just are saturated in the grime of the whole year. So who knows?
Who knows?
Cross
But,
our hearts.
I'm glad to hear from you boys once again on this channel, this podcast.
What about you, my boy?
Oh, I'm good holiday, relax. It was really busy at
Look at
work.
him.
Yes.
And towards the end, I wanted to
Yeah,
die.
the nightmares of work.
The nightmares of work, and it had time to relax. Still lockdowny, so can't go anywhere, but it was time to chillax.
True.
And relax, and now back
Did
at
you
it.
relax to the max?
Relax to the max, and we took...
I saw you made a lovely Christmas dinner.
Oh, yes, I made some...
I have not seen the Christmas dinner.
I did. It was like, I think it was sausages.
Yes, traditional sausages and potatoes. Potatoes and sausages roasted.
I hope everybody else had a good Christmas dinner.
Yes. Hope you
All
everyone
right.
enjoyed the
Yeah, I hope
sausages.
so. Yeah.
Now, so let's talk about season 2 of
Tell
Two-Fall
us.
podcast. So
Yeah.
Yeah, season 2. What's
So we've
happening?
been talking over the holidays where we were chillaxing, maxing.
We had this huge business meeting that spanned, hours and hours, with lots of pie charts and graphs, and our
board
demographics
members
and
and
our target
chairmen
audiences.
and lawyers and everything, and Johnny was there as well. We saw him.
Johnny was
interesting.
there.
He showed up. And the funny thing is, did you guys know that he owns like 70% of like the company?
Oh yeah. He's
It's insane.
I don't know what he does with the money. He always wears the same clothes, so I don't know. But it's
I don't know
it's
either.
He's one of those guys like you wouldn't know he's rich, but he is.
Yeah. Like he could be like just like gold in his pockets, just carrying just loads of gold.
I think he does.
So yeah, we're talking, and then about how we do things, and unfortunately, doing 2 movies for each episode. Well, we're busy boys, and unfortunately, that kind of turned out to be like a late moment thing before every episode. Just watching 2 movies
Before
real quickly.
every-
It's actually true. Tim is
and
correct here.
it wasn't very enjoyable. So we wanted to pull it back, maybe 1 movie at a time.
Yeah.
But we tried that last year, and we're watching new movies, and that wasn't really fun at all.
No.
So we were thinking, how can we watch some movies that are fun for us and we can talk about it? And then Jacob here came up with this theme thing. So why don't
Jacob
you
over here.
tell us about the themes? The themes.
Yes.
What are we doing this year?
Well, actually, interesting you said that I came up with it, but you, Tim, came up with your first idea.
Oh, that was
which
a good
to
idea.
watch-
Oh yeah.
which was to watch Dragon Ball, the entire show, and you're like, "What if we just watch all the episodes?
Yeah,
And
why don't we
have
just-
something to watch and talk about?"
It's like for the next 20 years we'll have something to do. We'll just watch Dragon Ball
Yeah,
every
we
An
episode.
intriguing
calculated.
idea. We quickly realized that after a couple of episodes, we probably would hate Dragon Ball forever
Yeah.
because there's nothing to talk about. I mean, we're not like super Dragon Ball fans, but we all obviously watch Dragon Ball. So that one kind of, didn't work out. But then I was thinking, well, if we're doing that, that's an interesting idea to like watch something that we all share in common, or maybe not, but that's something a little more like personal to us and that we might want to talk about because it might, bring up old memories or opinions and things like that. So then I had the idea maybe we can just watch movies that, were part of our childhoods or maybe we grew up on, or just some kind of a film that made an impact on us, whether we wanted it to or not. And so that's kind of the idea of the theme.
Yeah, that's
That's
season
right.
2. Season 2.
So what do we got?
podcast. Well,
So season 2, we're going to go through. Yeah, go ahead.
No. Yeah, we're going to do some themes. And the first, and there'll be themes, maybe 2 episodes, 3 episodes, maybe more. Who knows? Who knows what the whole year will hold? But the first theme we have here is it's officially called movies that Tim watched as a child and didn't see for 25 years, and he took a while to actually find what those movies are, and we're gonna watch them all together. Tim for the since he was a child, and the guys are gonna watch them for the very first time. That's the theme. That's official-
correct.
I think it's a really good title. I think that would be
It's
a
a really
good,
good
like
title.
metadata, for the title on iTunes and stuff. But even better, we can make a poster. It would cover the whole poster.
It would
Yeah.
be good.
So I think it's a good
It's
title.
like, do you guys know about the Japanese light novel titles?
Where's this going?
Starting to get. They're starting.
Yeah, I was going to say soft corn.
No. Just that could
corn.
be included, but like I'm just saying that the titles get
I love
really,
the Japanese
really
soft
long.
corn. Very tasty.
It's a very tasty
those
soft corn.
It's like the soft pancakes. It's just everything's soft and.
Oh, yeah.
you-
Sorry,
Just
Philip.
like-
Sorry, Philip.
Some
Some
in your mouth.
soft corn.
Okay, so you said there's soft
No,
light? Is that
light
what you
novels,
said?
and like for some reason or another,
Like
the
a novella?
titles, the titles started getting really, really long.
So like heavy titles, light.
Yeah.
Title longer than the book. You read the title and then it's like one paragraph.
It's pretty good.
for the
Like
book.
the long title, and then you
that's how
open
we
it's like
do
a
it.
haiku.
Yeah.
So anyway,
what
tell
you-
us about what we're about to experience.
But before we do that,
tell us.
just so you know how serious we are with this thing. Like this is not, we're not dying. There's no death. Life. This new play theme song is all
Bring
about life. Johnny, hit that shit.
What is that life?
Life, we bring life.
It's alive.
See?
It's good. It's good. Life is
Wow,
here.
man, that intro, I mean,
Stunning.
mind blowing,
Stunning.
I don't know if you thought that was bad. Out.
Get out.
Get out. just pack your bags and leave.
This was it's basically every podcast theme in one. So I think you get
You
everything.
get everything. We're here. We're ready. We're fresh. We're new.
And I
We're
think,
hyped.
if I'm not even mistaken, Johnny, I think he's got a new console. And I'm not hearing that like chunky click. I'm hearing like a nice, like
Soft button. Soft corn button.
A little soft corn button for you.
nice.
Like 90s, like late 90s technology.
Wow.
Like,
And also, Tim, since we're on the subject,
what's up?
I don't know if you noticed, but we have a brand new cover. I mean,
we do.
Talk about
Oof,
rebrand,
slick,
refresh.
smooth,
It's
soft.
not a rebrand, it's a refresh. It's like
Refresh.
when you just freshen it up.
Remaster, high definition.
Like a new coat of paint.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
So let's talk about the movie of this episode.
Okay.
So I saw this movie when I was about 7 or 8, because I remember like kids being in the movie that are there, being older than me. So I must have been like 7 or 8. I watched it. I like to say I've seen it at least 2 times because I specifically remember watching it once, not from beginning, like watching maybe like 2/3 of it, and then I remember distinctly being excited that catching it on TV, that this is a movie I saw before and I liked it. Like, I'm going to watch it again. Like, I don't know, like back in the day, like I didn't have a lot of like tapes. So I would just like watch stuff on the TV and there's like certain excitement of like,
And hope something comes
like
up.
there's that movie that I saw once. I have no idea what it is, but
I think
I'm going to watch it
all
again.
of us have that kind of experience, don't we? Like at
Yeah,
least
like-
somewhere in the corner of your mind. There's this one movie. I don't want to trail off into something else, but there's this one movie that I watched in class in Austria on a like 8mm projector. Like it was like for a class thing, and it was this kids film, but it was German, and I know that I will never be able to see it because I don't know what it is. I only have vague memories of it, but there it is.
Yeah. And this was one of those movies that I just had like, and then later on throughout teenagehood and like throughout my 20s, I kind of like had a vague memory of it. Only that, like, I remember about it. We were talking about some old movies and I remembered it, but I couldn't remember any of the actors in it. Like, I knew there was something to do with like knights and like kids and like fighting or something like that.
Rewind really quick if I missed it. How old were you approximately when you watched this?
7 or 8.
And you just found it and you watched the whole movie, or just parts of it and then rediscovered it as a child?
I watched it as a kid on TV, and I don't think I saw the beginning of it. I think I got somewhere in the middle, and then maybe a week later, maybe a month, maybe a year later, I definitely saw it again, and maybe one more time after that. Like the more, I don't think I ever saw the whole movie, but a little bit. Like on TV, you don't really, unless you look at the guide, usually catch stuff in the middle, or maybe a couple of minutes in.
Yeah, of course.
So I've definitely seen it at least twice, but always in mind for a couple of reasons, and I'll tell you about those. But I couldn't maybe a couple of years back, I was thinking about this movie that like it exists, and I think throughout the years I talked to people about it, and nobody knew it existed. I thought it was like a big movie. Someone has to saw this movie. Like,
Oh, you thought it was
I
like
was on
a
TV. Yeah.
Blockbuster.
Nobody knew about it. And I didn't have a lot of keywords to go on for until I recalled the face of the villain. And I must have been watching another movie.
Are you kidding?
And then I was like two together. And like when you have an actor name, you can go like, okay. So, and the actor, the villain, is played by Michael Ironside in this movie. And he has that
was one of my notes. I couldn't believe it.
And he has a long ass, it's not discography, movieography. So that took a long ass time. Film. Like I knew it was, I knew it was like in the 90s. So I went through all his 90s movies and I found it. And I found the damn thing. And I put it on my list.
Oh, so you went to him.
You found it.
That's
Excellent work, friend.
When he showed up in the movie, I was honestly very confused for a second because it was like one of those familiar faces. And you're looking at him. And I was like, I've seen this.
I've seen this man.
I've seen him get his arm chopped off on an elevator once.
Exactly.
Your mind goes to these weird, like, phantom notions like Jack Nicholson, even though you know it's not Jack Nicholson.
He looks very similar.
But you're like, but that face and that smile, and you're like, but he wouldn't be in this. And then it was weird.
Yeah, it's like one of those things like when you watch these things as kids, you don't have no prior like knowledge of movie stars or anything like that. It's like very movie specific to you. Like you don't know that. And then you rewatch and you realize, oh, these are actors. Like, well, there's another big actor in this movie that I had no idea that was in it.
Yeah.
Only until I started watching, I'm like, okay, that makes sense. So the movie that I found and that we watched, all three of us together, is called Kids of the Round Table.
Kings of Arthur's Court.
Year?
This was released in 1995, and let me tell you about the plot of this movie, right?
Really? I couldn't have told.
Okay.
So a kid of a single parent has a thing for medieval times, LARPs with his other kids pretending he's King Arthur or whatever in like the forest. Gets bullied by the local bully, but one day his world turns upside down when he finds, after the bully bullies him, Excalibur in a rock and pulls it out, and Marilyn pops out. Marilyn Manson pops out. Merlin.
Marilyn Manson.
Not only that, there's like a new kid on the block who's better at him with basketball. I mean, like they're, and,
oh, jeez.
And not only that, but like Excalibur gives him powers, and he like beats like the bully's asses. His name is Scar. He beats his ass. But unfortunately,
Tim, you're making this sound way too exciting than it is.
But unfortunately, he also uses these Excalibur powers to beat up the new kid on the block because his friend Jenny has the hots for the new kid instead of him, right? So Alex loses his power of Excalibur. The sword and Merlin are nowhere to be found. Meanwhile, Scars, the bully's dad, is a criminal played by Michael Ironside. And his goons rob the bank, the local bank in town, and have a brilliant plan to hide in the sheriff's house afterwards.
Brilliant.
But sheriff's daughter, Janine, the girl who friend zones our boy Alex, has a birthday party. After a heart-to-heart talk with his dad, Alex, that he realizes you can't make people love you, you should still be friends, goes to the party, and he realizes they're all being held hostage by Michael Ironside and his two goons. So he uses 19 hijinks and booby traps.
Kevin McAllister.
Captures these bad guys. Cop, Janine's dad comes in, they arrest the guys, everything's fine. He apologizes to his love, Jenny, and the new guy, I forgot his name, and they're all friends. Talks to Merlin about it. And he talks to Merlin, and he realizes and learns that Excalibur is the friends we made along the way, not the sword. And then we have a short stinger at the end that probably sets up a sequel that never was made,
but was probably
like
more
Avengers
interesting
style. And that's it. That's the plot.
Beautiful. I cried every time.
The craziest thing is that I remember every single thing from this movie.
Okay, tell us about this, Tim. I wanted to know.
But wait, Tim, we have a clip.
But before we roll the clip, I want to say that talking about this plot, I remember every single thing from this plot, but I thought that I remember only parts of the movie and thinking there's more to it. There's parts I don't remember.
Oh, yes, that's the classic thing. And I think there's more.
And I watched this movie, and that's it. That's all that happened. That's insane. So why don't you, Jake, introduce a clip we have for the listeners so they get the vibe of the movie. They have to feel it. They understand.
Absolutely, my friend.
Tell us what's happening in this clip.
We have a clip. So this clip is when Alex, at the beginning of the film, goes to the forest, and meets a mysterious man. Spoiler, it's Merlin. Roll the clip, Johnny.
Hello, Alex.
Who are you?
Alex. Alex. You know who I am.
You're Merlin?
At your service.
Am I going to be king?
King? King? What kind of king would you like to be? Would you like to be the king of rock and roll? Burger King? A Los Angeles king, perhaps? Or a chicken a la king? King. No, no. This is a democracy. This is America. There are no kings like you mean. But you know your legends. I'm impressed. Come.
So that was an amazing clip. I think that clip embodies the very nature of this movie.
Yeah.
Especially the line where Malcolm McDowell goes, "This is America."
Let's have a democracy.
And a democracy. And I think that just, represents the entire movie and what we're
Thank
in
you.
for.
It was beautiful. So, Tim, tell me
Yeah.
about this, because I've never seen this film before. I've never heard about it until you had to bring it up on this podcast. And I have to drink whiskey to try to remember, try to forget.
Where was this released? What's going on here? Was this a VHS thing? Was this a TV thing? Why is Malcolm McDowell?
Why is Malcolm McDowell in the beginning and the end mysteriously?
Is he one of those actors, unfortunately, that was like he made it with A Clockwork Orange and then kind of later in his carear ended up in these kinds of
the
movies?
Orson Welles.
What are the answers to these
Dude, I
questions?
have no idea. I was actually looking this up, and I have no idea what is the movie is directed and written by the person who wrote the short story, and it's just a dude. And I have no I've been looking up for a production.
Short story.
Robert
Wait,
Tennell.
inform us here. What's going on here?
Yeah.
Writer,
He just-
director, producer.
There's a short story of this movie's based on.
Yeah, but he wrote it, so he based it on his short story. So that was in the beginning of the credits. I mean, I looked up any information on IMDb. There's nothing here. I don't know why how they got Ironside. I mean, he was coming off it was big in the 90s. I still think he was a little bit B kind of movie, but still pretty big. He was in.
Well, I think before that, all I can think of is Total Recall, right?
Total
Michael
Recall was the
Ironside?
big one. Yeah,
That was 80s though.
but
No,
he
Total Recall
in
was
the-
1990, dude.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
whoops, sorry.
Just 1995. I mean, he was also in Starship Troopers. That's where I saw him first. But he was in thousands of things.
It's interesting you're mentioning Michael Ironside, but I mean, isn't sort of the whole marketing was with Malcolm McDowell?
Yes, I
He's
think
on
so.
The poster. He's. By the way, I thought that he was going to be in the whole movie, but it turns out it's
no,
a classic
that's
bookend cameo.
Yeah.
Well, here's my question that I have for you guys that I was thinking when the movie ended. It's would this movie be any different if Excalibur and Merlin were not in it? Did they affect
That's what I was
anything?
going to say. I was so disappointed when watching this film because the title is Kids of the Round Table. And I thought we would have a great wholesome film where these kids actually get transported into the world of the fantasy Middle Ages.
Yep.
With King Arthur. And they become...
And then freaking he gets to talk with Merlin, and Merlin's just like, Arthur, you're not Arthur. This is America. That's ridiculous because all he was is basically his counselor. I mean, there wasn't even any magic. It was just
nothing.
He could have been pretending to be Merlin. It was ridiculous.
What is this?
The power he got from the Excalibur, it was just he could punch stronger. That's it.
Yeah, and my favorite part was him taking that big ass sword home and putting it under his bed or whatever.
Yeah, that's all he did. The funny thing is, you were asking, what about this movie? And it's why did it resonate with me? And there's a couple of things I knew why it did, and a couple of things what I realized now watching it. I think one thing is that you have to understand, I was like 7 or 8. I didn't understand English that much at that point. So I think I watched this movie based on not the conversation, but just what was happening. So I think like the reason why those bad guys are at the sheriff's house, like I had no idea what that was about. Like they were just there. I thought they were there by accident.
Right.
I mean, I realized they were bad guys because it's like very visual.
I mean, yeah, they have the
But
hats,
I think
the bad guy hat.
Right. So one of the big reasons why I remember this movie is, and why I chose it, I wanted to revisit it, because this movie was my first on-screen crush as a child I had.
Oh, what?
Are you serious?
So Jenny was like a really big crush.
Jenny.
For me personally.
No way.
And it was really funny rewatching this as like 25 years later. Just like seeing the scenes, and it was like really funny. Dude, I used to like, I don't know what, like I used to like daydream that, because this kid, like he's got like a really cool mountain bike, and I really wanted a mountain bike when I was a kid. And I was like, because I had a BMX, but BMX was like a 90s thing, like an 80s thing. Like mountain bikes were 90s.
Yeah, no one wants the BMX. Stupid 80s
bikes
crap.
are for mountains.
Yeah, so like, and I was like, if I had like a mountain bike, I would like daydream, and I drew pictures. Like I would drive up in my mountain bike to this like girl's house, and then she would give me a kiss on the cheek, and I'd be like, that'll be like the best.
That's good. That's a wholesome.
That's a wholesome. Well, I was a young child, but yeah, for some reason I had a crush on this girl when I was a little kid.
Interesting. Would have never thought.
And that's like one of the.
I mean, it's funny. Cause
Yeah, good.
Yeah. No, I want to say like Alex, in my opinion, don't like him at all. But for instance,
Man, I
he's
hate
a
him.
Friend who likes Jenny. I like him.
Oh, the
He's
new
nice.
guy, right? He's a nice
He's a
guy.
nice guy.
Yeah.
I mean, like Alex got issues,
He's
know.
great.
I think. Did you guys catch? Does he have an accent? I was like really weird, like when he was talking.
Yes, I wanted to tell you. I think he has like a weird. I mean, it's not weird. It's just like it's an accent, which I thought was interesting.
Yeah. And another thing that I learned why I think the movie resonated with me is the setting. Basically, when I was a kid, like in 1993, my parents and we visited America, the United States, and we spent like about a couple of weeks there, and we visited like friends and families.
Did you walk in like at the airport and go, "This is America"?
This is America.
This is America. I mean, it made a really long-lasting impression on me. Like, I don't remember anything until I was 6 years old, except being in America. Like, I could recollect about like 80 different memories from there.
Well, 93, you would have been 4.
Yeah. That's the only thing I remember, like maybe 2 other memories, but like from being that young age, like I can remember like very specific things.
You know that.
I guess, like it was a big thing, like new place and it was like different. But we spent,
Cultures.
yeah.
We will start a new life in America. Come, Tim. Come, my boy.
Come, pull the strings. And we spent a lot of time in like Pennsylvania, like Midwest, but like foresty Midwest.
Pennsylvania
kind of
is not
places.
the Midwest, my
Midwest,
friend.
Okay.
East.
Okay, east. Yeah, I guess east. Yeah, the east sort of when it's like forest.
We
and
will
hills,
travel to the east, Tim.
and people in
Timo,
houses
come,
like
come.
this. Well, that's like
Yeah, like the suburbs.
not suburbs. Like, did you see the houses were like in forests, like outside? Where you have like a farms
Okay, right,
and these
right.
kind of things. Like it was
True.
It was very like how people, and it's 95 and I was 93, and like how people dressed and what they
You were
did, how the
93.
houses looked. So I think just like that reminded me of
the
that.
idyllic.
Yeah. Reminded me of
Yeah,
like
yeah,
what I
yeah,
thought
yeah.
America was. So I think that's why it kind of made a really big
Hardcore
impression.
90s
Because this
plaid
movie is
stayed in your memory.
is boring as hell. It's just
Oh,
But
dude.
it's interesting you mentioned that because I was also thinking that while watching the film, I noticed sort of those 90s things. But it wasn't so much like, how I think a lot of people love to just like talk about, oh, that's so 90s and stuff like that.
Yeah, but
But not so much that, but just like that whole like era, even a crappy movie like this that came out, you can just see so much of the
malaise.
trends and,
That
what was
90s
normal back then in
malaise.
terms of fashion and, style. Very interesting. Like those huge shirts.
the huge shirts
Gigantic.
and the Nikes. The scene
robes.
where
Oh, the Nikes.
the scene with the Nike Airs when he's playing basketball with the new kid and he's
Oh,
like,
jeez.
hold
And then
on.
there's that. And the short
like-
lens that they used. And then they had the close up of
That
his
was weird
feet.
to me because I had no clue what was happening at that scene. I was like, okay, now we're at a basketball
So-
game.
So to tell the listeners, set up the scene. What's happening? Our boy Alex comes to school, and what's happening? Jacob,
What?
well, tell people
scene?
the basketball.
The basketball scene.
People haven't watched this
Well,
movie.
that's the thing that's confusing.
Oh,
The basketball scene was very confusing because I'm asking you, because like the whole movie, like I understood, but that sequence transitioning into the basketball sequence was very, very confused.
I remember the first time I experienced this, which was just a couple of minutes ago, and I just went, "Oh, geez."
tell us, Phil. Tell, what
Basketball.
happened?
Where did this come from?
Tell us what happened.
Where did this come from? I don't know. It was a blur to me.
You don't like. It was just basically he comes to school after his like.
I'm just like,
Merlin-
we're having basketball going on now. What
It's
is
the
this? I was
90s.
promised Merlin. I was
What the
promised
scene
swords.
before the basketball.
I can't remember. I think he
you'll
was.
help
I think he was talking to Merlin, and he got the sword, and he goes to school the next day. No, I think it was after he beats up. No, this is before he beats up the bully. So he gets the sword, and he's like, "Oh shit, got to go to school." And no, Daddy, 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 help,
Daddy-o.
Janine, not Janine. Jenny's dad, the sheriff, drives him to school. And then he's like, who's that? And it's like this cool kid playing basketball. And he's like, that's the new guy. I forgot his name, Luke.
Oh,
or whatever.
he plays basketball with the new guy.
Yeah.
Luke, yeah.
And then his friends are like, hey, you know, you're pretty good, but you're no match for Alex. Alex is the best at basketball. So Alex comes up. He's like shorter, and he's like, hey, new kid, you want to play 1-on-1? And he's like, yeah, of course. So this kid beats his ass. So he's like, give me a minute. He walks all the way to the gym. Out of a locker, he pulls out a duffel bag, and I'm like, "What is in the duffel bag?" He brings a duffel bag,
Oh no, I remember now.
and all that
put it
is in
over
his
his head,
duffel
Nike
bag
Air,
gonna murder
Jordan
him.
Airs.
is Jordan Airs, Nike Jordan Airs.
Oh, yeah.
Puts him on. There's a short lens. It looks like a '90s commercial. They're like playing basketball, but the kid still knocks his ass, and then he makes jokes, and he's like, "Just do it, my ass," or whatever he says.
Yeah.
Yeah, something like that. That was a beautiful joke.
I don't think
Man, I hated it.
I don't think a single joke landed in this movie.
No. I wanted to say that speaking of,
I just don't
this-
understand how we're all accepting of the fact that this movie is called The King in Arthur's Court. No, wait, what's it called? the kids of the round table. The kids of the round table. And there's barely any round table. There's barely any
There's
Arthur.
one round table. There's
Not
like,
the aardvark, the knight, the king
oh,
Arthur.
that's true.
You know,
No, he is Arthur.
I'm sorry,
he's got his
whiskey is
LARPing
getting to
little
me.
round table.
So I have a question. Since
yeah, for one scene in the movie.
Exactly. And
It's ridiculous.
That's a very long scene when he's
This
like
is travesty.
when he tells them about the legend of Arthur, and there's that like Michael Bay 360 long lens.
Oh yeah,
and it just keeps going and going.
Yes.
by the way,
that I was so hyped at the beginning, but no, it can't be that.
first of all,
We had to
I wanted
see
say that
stupid
I
Michael
thought,
Ironside with his
like
stupid
Phil,
hat.
I thought when he's going to talk about the legend, I thought we would get a nice flashback, and maybe our main character Alex will see himself as
Yes.
Arthur, and we'll get a nice little, kind of, low budget production trying to be.
I know. I was
back-
hoping for this.
Like, my favorite would be like, let's go back in time, but we'd be in the same location, so they don't have to move locations. But then they just bring in the actors with the knights
Yes.
costumes, and then we can see that
Yes.
little fun thing, but it didn't happen. And the second thing I wanted to say was, speaking of the basketball,
we had the birthday
scene,
party.
I don't
Wow,
know
how
if you
great
guys
that was.
noticed, but the transitions from scene to scene in this movie were riveting. The
They're just like
music
hard cuts
was
of the
even
music.
better because the music goes like, and the next scene comes in.
I wonder if this is like a movie cut we watched. Because by the way, we watched this on YouTube. I couldn't find this movie anywhere,
Yeah.
so we just watched it. Somebody,
Maybe it was for maybe it was for like commercials, and they just kind of chopped it up.
Oh yeah. That makes sense. It aired. Did you know that this movie aired? No, it didn't air. Sorry, guys. Whiskey.
But we didn't find out what it was for.
But did you know that
what
this
format did it
movie-
come out and stuff?
I don't care, but like it says that the Cannes Film Festival premiered it.
what?
Oh my!
It was in Cannes. They probably gave it a standing ovation, knowing.
Probably
Or-
Michael Ironside. stood up.
Michael Ironside, he's very good. I really liked his
He did a good
his
performance
expression.
in here. His expressions were everywhere. I
Yes,
think he was on
yes.
cocaine. I don't know.
I don't believe it. No,
You know-
I don't believe
you know-
it because the first thing I thought was this man he is not used to smiling. I could tell. He was just like all the smiles that he gave were very artificial. I did not trust them.
There is no.
I think he was my favorite character.
Oh yeah, that's true. That's definitely he was in that role. He was everything. He put like this
he
was
was-
his Oscar. Michael Ironside. He put every.
Because you have this entire movie where you have these sequences of people talking, and they're just like, like rocks with mouths and stuff like that. And then when Michael Ironside comes in, when his scene, the intro to the dad, remember that where he's okay. So for the listeners,
Oh, I hate the dad.
introduce Michael Ironside. Yeah,
the
introduce this
flower shop?
character.
Oh, I hate the dad.
No, it's at the house. Remember at the house?
Wasn't it
His
the
house, he has
restaurant?
The goons come over.
Oh no!
It was
Oh,
somewhere,
Alex's
but I think
dad.
it was
You
at the
mean?
house.
Yeah. Alex's dad.
Alex-
Yes.
Yeah.
No.
Who's that? There's too many dads in this movie.
Listen,
There's so many dads.
bully,
This movie should be
right?
called Daddy of the
bully
Round Table.
has a dad who is the criminal mastermind.
Yes, he
and
is.
that's Michael Ironside.
It's his house, but it's also a flower
And we
shop.
introduce-
Hi, doggy.
Okay, I forgot. That totally was erased from my mind. We intro him, or we show him at the house, and he's offering a couple of beers,
A dozen
and
red
Coke,
roses.
can of Coke to his goons,
Yeah.
because they come
Yeah.
over to do some business. And his son comes over, and then he finds out from his son that he got beaten up by a smaller, wimpier boy.
Yes.
And that's
beta male.
problem, and he gets mad. But listen to this. The whole point of that scene was that I was watching it, and it was like the one scene, like up until that point, where I was like really invested. I was like, this actor, he's like really trying to make this work.
Well, that's what you do. You pay
And he's
Michael
talking
Ironside,
about
and he
this
does his job.
ridiculous stuff. And I was like, that was interesting. To
Michael
me, that-
Ironside is the epitome of what's known as a working actor. You pay him, he goes on set, he does the job, he works on it. There's no, as far as I know, there's no ego involved. Michael Ironside does the job. he does the job.
He's
I
like
put a
you,
little
he
too
mic
much whiskey
people,
in this
like-
drink. I'm sorry.
Miker.
I love it.
Or mic her.
Exactly.
We have to mic her up. Yeah,
Give her a mic.
I
mic her.
forgot.
Yeah.
I forgot a
she's not
very
being heard.
big plot point is once Alex puts Michael Ironside behind iron bars, his son, the bully, becomes nice. Justice.
I know.
Yeah,
That's good. That's how you get people in place. That's how you do it.
Yeah. You put him
That's
in
how
jail.
structural
Okay, so-
societal.
I have another very important
Classes.
point to make
Go
about
ahead,
this
Jacob.
film in general, and I would love to hear your thoughts. But one amazing feature of this movie is the astounding overdubbing work that they did for almost all the characters and all the actors.
Especially
And
there's one character that just is overdubbed always.
what wasn't it, Malcolm?
Was it Malcolm? I thought the sheriff,
Well, listen,
Jenny's dad.
the clip we played-
he's always overdubbed.
If you listen
I
closely,
hate Jenny's dad. I hate everybody in this movie. I don't know.
Oh, you mean the sheriff?
Yeah, he's always overdubbed.
yeah,
I don't
the
think that's his
bearded
voice.
sheriff.
But everyone is always
bland
I guess. And
pancake
if you
man.
watch the movie, it was just amazing. Like the clip we played for the podcast has some great, badly cut comps with Malcolm.
Of course.
if you listen to
It's
that,
great.
brilliant. And then the kid, I remember also, and I remember a specific scene where, like you said, Tim, where he meets Alex, goes and meets his dad. Remember,
Yeah.
across the river for an important discussion.
Wait, stop. Wasn't the first time when he met his dad? Whose dad?
So Alex,
Alex,
dad,
yes.
who's like the busy
Yes.
man
Yes.
who lives across
They went to the
river or
restaurant,
whatever.
remember?
Well, he works across the river. Yes, he's supposed
He
to meet
works,
them
yeah,
at the
works, yeah.
restaurant. The
Yeah, he
usual.
meets
And then they
them
look
at
at a
the
waiter's ass,
restaurant.
both of them, for some reason.
They do.
Yes,
because
yes.
they're pervy.
But that waiter, the overdubbing was also just amazing.
Yeah, but it
That was
wasn't
true.
pandemic
And
levels.
she's like, she's like, the usual for you too, and it's like, just the disconnect was beautiful.
And-
maybe we can play a clip of that.
Yeah, maybe, and there's another amazing quote.
It's so
like
worth
like
it.
a joke. And it is like, so 2 Cokes and a towel for Alex, and then she walks away.
Yeah, that's the usual.
there's like, because Alex fell into the river trying to get on a little ferry. You see,
Yeah,
That's right. I remember that. That was a great moment.
And Michael Ironside is hamming it the entire time, but everything else, everyone's such a flat performance, and the music is so flat and boring. and the pacing is so boring.
I don't remember any of the music.
It's just ridiculous. Like nothing is like happening. Everything feels like 1,000 years. I'm just like,
So listen, speaking of that, another amazing feature of this movie to add to what you're saying.
I love that you're just pointing out all the features. This is great.
Yeah,
it's a feature-heavy
there's so
movie.
many.
yeah,
And
featured movie.
this feature might even be stronger than the other one.
Okay.
And that is this really, how would you say, innovative use of long shots. So we have this long shot, and characters talk for up to 5 minutes at a time.
It's a
And
long shot.
Hey, they just talk.
primal example of this is where Alex is walking down the railroad tracks with his new friend,
Yes.
Luke.
Before they found out he
They
likes
start
Janine.
far away from the camera. And then 5 minutes later, they come towards the camera. Never any cuts between those moments. And I mean, I found that just very fascinating.
I think if you should do yourself a favor, listener, to just go and watch the film right now.
The
film's
thing is-
great. It's wonderful.
And they talk sometimes, like, and the conversation, the script, it's so boring that you shut off. Like, 3 times in this movie, like, I have no idea what they're saying. Like, my
yeah.
brain is like, when he's talking about Arthur at the beginning of the movie, and the camera's spinning around, music is playing.
Yeah,
3 seconds
This is
in, I
when,
have
this
no
is when
idea
the
what this kid
child
is
is
saying.
sitting.
I have no idea what
Yeah,
he's
he's
saying.
standing in front. They're on a circular table in the backyard, right? And then there are all the other children who have like bottles and like
They're like LARPing
cardboard
hard,
pieces
like
to-
medieval times.
They're LARPing, and the camera is beautiful Michael Bay Bad Boys, kind of style where it's just like zoomed in and it's moving and it's dolling left and right and it's looking so awesome. And I really, really hoped that we would get a time travel situation.
Yeah,
And
something.
this kid is just standing there. He's just talking seriously about Arthur in the Round Table. There was a boy and a man, and then and then the sword and the stone came, and then there were wars, and it's like I want to watch this film because like I don't get it. Why did we even have that
I know.
story?
I was wondering that too.
And he was like, throughout the land, everyone was fighting each other, and it was bad. And
That's exactly how the conversation went.
And then the funnier
Yeah.
part is that when Merlin shows up, he's like the most nonchalant Merlin. Because the funny thing is that I don't know what you guys think, but there is like this really big fascination in like film history for some reason of doing freaking Merlin and Arthur remakes.
They love
Yeah,
it.
did you
There's
see
a
King Arthur?
bajillion movies, huh?
Did anyone of you seen King Arthur, the 2004 film?
The one with
oh,
Keira Knightley
me.
being like a skit or whatever this
Yes.
is. Yeah. I seen
The one where Keira Knightley was very disappointed at the fact that they actually enlarged her breasts on the
Oh, but that was a long
poster.
time ago. That was like 2000,
4, he just said.
mid 2000s, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, sorry, they said 14.
Oh, okay. No. That
Did
was,
you see that? Did you watch that?
I seen it when it came out. I don't remember anything from it. Like there's some battles and stuff. I don't know. Like he's like a
We
Roman.
watched it once in the cinema.
Oh, in the
Yes.
cinema.
I don't remember anything about the film, but we watched it in
We
the
watched
cinema.
it, Phil, at the $2 cinema.
At the $2
That's
cinema.
the key phrase.
Amazing.
And I couldn't hear most of the audio because someone left the door open in the projector room, and all I could hear was.
But not only that, Phil, the best part of that experience was that was the most grain and dirt I've ever seen on a film screen. Those rolls of films are so old.
They never checked
and
the
played
gate.
so many times.
They never checked it. It's just
Yeah.
It was literally like, when they do like the effects like for Planet Terror and stuff, you
Yeah.
know? It was like that, but in real life.
That
You looked at the
grindhouse.
screen,
It's
just
just totally a grindhouse like
everywhere, and you're like-
experience. Yeah.
it's perfect.
this is totally
good.
worth $2.
I want to see how many King Arthur movies there are. I'm sorry if I'm just. kind of-
Please go look at that
So-
because I wanted to say that there's so many of those movies, and in the end we have Merlin who comes in, and it's just like the most nonchalant Merlin ever, who's just like
Played by
"King,
Andy
you want to be
No, what's his
king?"
name? Malcolm McDowell.
Here's a
And he's like, "When should I come back?" You'll know.
you'll know. And
Bye.
bye. I have a horse here. So
And he's in his freaking tree trunk.
so if you look
Office.
at Kids
Oh, yeah,
of the
he
Round
lives in the
Table-
tree trunk.
Yeah, it has a basement. If you look up Kids of the Round Table on IMDb, I was trying to find like more information. There's one piece of trivia, and it's tied to both things what you were saying. So here's the piece of trivia. Malcolm McDowell Merlin, previously played King Arthur and Arthur the King in 1985. That's it. So yeah, he's in 2 King Arthur movies.
Really?
Yeah. And once he plays Merlin and once he plays King Arthur. Praise. So what I wanted to...
Praise to King Arthur.
Yeah.
So listen. So
What?
wait.
Tell me.
Okay, just go, Tim. I don't know if you want to go because this is an important topic I want to bring up. I want to bring up this important topic.
Well,
but
is it a new topic or
you
you
have
want to talk
something to say.
about how many Arthur movies there are?
Well, no, this is a very, very important topic as throughout the context of kids in King Arthur's realm or whatever it's called.
Will you bring it
And-
up and I'll ask my question after that. Go ahead.
All right. Well, there's a superior film. There's a superior 1995 film that has to do with children and King Arthur.
Wait,
Oh, I
995
think I
as
know what it
well?
is, but tell me.
What is it?
Yes.
Yes.
It's
So is it
called
the movie I'm thinking of?
Yeah, because I keep messing this up. It's called a
Damn.
a kid
Tale.
in King Arthur's court.
That one.
Kid in King Arthur's court. Me and Jake actually watched this film when we were children. I have no
Yes.
interest in revisiting this film.
Wait.
But this is what I was expecting.
saw this.
when I was
Me too.
Do you
Good.
Do you think this was like they made this movie as like King Arthur kids? It's like the biggest thing. Look, the kid even has the same haircut.
well, I mean, it's the
telling you.
90s. I mean, they all had the
That's
same
true.
Because that's
that's
the thing
true.
that I really thought of, because I remember in my mind this was like a very like fantastic, film that like piqued my interest. Like, oh my goodness, like time travel, cool character, like you said, all the amazing, characteristics like baseball and cool stuff from the 90s.
Kate Winslet is in the movies, by the way.
Kate Winslet.
Yep. She plays Marion.
What?
Yep. In this movie you're talking
That's
about.
amazing. Also, the poster for Kid in King Arthur's court. Those knights look like they're having sex.
They probably are.
Ooh, I have a follow-up
So-
question. Sorry.
Okay.
I have a question about this movie. So there's 2 points where Merlin hints at
Man, I hate Merlin. I
he,
hate everybody in this film.
he hints at something. So my question is he hinting that Merlin and the Lady of the Lake banged? Is this what he's talking about?
Oh, you mean his love story?
Isn't
But
that
she
like
locked
the
him up for,
original
800
legend?
years.
Is that what it is? They were like lovers?
I don't
'Cause
know.
he-
Oh, they
He
just
said he loved someone.
They just had a little fling, just a little one night stand.
Because he mentioned this at 2 points. One, he's like,
Am I okay?
yeah, I don't think so. I think Phil's on the verge of
There's
madness.
whiskey.
So
I'm gonna get some more whiskey. I'm sorry.
so first
I'll
he
be right back.
Okay, you go get it. We'll
Yeah,
talk
yeah.
Go
about
get. I'll be
the
back.
love
I'll talk about
story.
Merlin. So Merlin tells he's talking about the sword, and he's like, and Alex is asking him, how does the sword work? Why is the sword present to me? And he's like, well, the Lady of the Lake, she knows the secrets, and she won't tell me, but that's a story for another time. So it's like, is there history? And then the second time when he's trying to console him about his love troubles with new guy taking away his love of his life,
Yeah.
he's like, I fell in love once and she locked me in a cage for 800
Yes.
years, but I still loved her.
800 freaking years.
Is this the legend of the Lady of Lake? What, like he's
I have no idea. But my favorite.
Did you
is
know that
before he talks
Arthurian
about the
legend? Hi, I'm back. By the way, did you know that Arthurian legend was actually mostly French inspired and not necessarily English at all?
well, it's a complete fabricated
I thought
story.
like 80% of that was
Well, of course it is. It's legend, but I'm just saying some people do believe that King Arthur might have been a real person. You know what I mean?
Well,
but
yeah,
that
I
is.
think he was like an amalgamation.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Listen, Tim, before he starts talking about the lady and their hot love affair, he says, which is so funny to me, oh, I don't know about this girl-boy stuff.
Yeah, I was just locked up for
But I
800
got
years.
this chick.
What do I know? I suffered.
Very confusing.
I was cucked for 800 years. Amazing.
I don't know what to say.
But what I wanted to add,
like, I just love this Merlin who's like so passive and,
but like at the end of the
They just wanted it a name.
But listen
on the
to me.
poster.
At the end of the movie, there's like another kid who pulls out the sword in California.
you guys are so
Yeah.
fascinated by this kid. Why are you so fascinated? To me, this
Because-
is just like
because the
basic,
gall.
like last minute, like we need to just put this. At
But
the end.
imagine,
The-
why wouldn't the Merlin be? Because this,
the confidence.
because it happened. Like this whole story, it happened in technically in 3 days max, right? This whole him finding the sword and learning the lesson. So it's 3
Yes.
days, and immediately after three days, the sword shows itself to another damn kid. Imagine being Merlin every 3 days, a new kid, and the same damn thing.
What else? He has nothing else to do. He lives in a tree trunk.
Well, but
I'm sorry.
But why wouldn't he be so passive? He knows how it's gonna go. He just goes and it says
that's
his
true,
line.
yeah.
So I don't feel bad. Like,
Why
also-
doesn't he show some magic tricks?
He did. He pushed the books with his finger.
I missed that. I missed the finger pushing.
I
books.
missed so much. This movie was such a blur to me, and it's
My
not just because I
favorite.
watched it in 2 times speed. Shut up.
Okay, so we
wanted
need to
to
talk
say
about that as well.
The third most interesting thing about this movie is how the ending, after everything happens, is so melodramatic. It was like a different movie.
Oh, it was great. I love that
The
ending.
kid, like when the kid, like he's.
I knew that it was
terrified.
ending.
So everything ends, and
Yes.
the robbers are captured.
Yeah.
It was great. He threw an apple at his balls.
Yes, I want to say that moment. So the kids sort of like corner the robber,
Soft
right?
corner, yes.
and they throw an apple at his balls. And listen to this. That
Yes,
moment
he died.
was so cringy. My butt clenched.
Your
How
butt
cringy it
clenched.
was. Very few things nowadays are cringy to me, but that.
This whole movie was.
And just
That
like
was,
the acting
it's the
and
essence of the
him
90s
falling
humor.
to his knees and not even escaping, and the cops coming, and
So
it was a
so
lot to
what
handle.
I want to ask. So in the 90s, and don't worry, this theme will repeat throughout my theme of movies. There is this weird thing, this trope in 90s where kids use booby traps and hijinks to catch evil people. When did this start? Did this start with Home Alone, or was this before?
Yes.
I think Home Alone, because I think
Home Alone,
Here's a
man.
great plug for a documentary.
Yes.
From Phil we watched. What's it called?
Netflix. The movies that made us.
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
on Home Alone. Really, really good.
It's great.
Background, because
It
I
actually-
never knew how Home Alone got made and why it got made, and for movies like that, it's very hard to find a lot of information, and they really did a good job explaining. And once you get the context of how Home Alone got made, you realize that it just I think, has probably set the trend. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, so it
It's
must
good, Tim. Did you see it?
No, I did
Netflix,
not. I'll check.
movies that made it.
I'll check
You
it
should
out.
watch it. It's great.
It's really
It
good.
looked fluffy to me, so I didn't watch it. But I guess it isn't.
It
wasn't.
wasn't actually. I mean, editing
is-
a little
yeah,
fluffy,
jinx.
but content-wise, good.
Okay, because the trailer looked really fluffy, so I was like, I'm not going to watch this. But
Yeah, it's a bit fast-paced for me.
okay,
Yeah, it's a bit fast paced. It's not
should
like
watch
natural like I would
Kittens of
like,
the Round
but it's
Table
great.
for slower
That's
pace.
not fast-paced.
That's not fast paced.
So I wanted to ask because, like, you know, you guys said like you expected like time travel and everything. So what were you? Because I knew the
because
plot.
like Kid in King Arthur's court.
Because I knew the plot. I saw this one as a kid, so I knew what was going to happen.
How many times did you see it?
I don't know, twice at least. But I wanted to ask is like, so you guys thought it was going to be time travel. So halfway through this point of this
Yeah.
movie, where do you think this is going? What did you?
In halfway
point?
Yeah, where did you think it's going to go afterwards?
Honestly, I honestly thought it was going where it went. Like, I
Yep,
don't know.
to the
same,
birthday
There was
party?
nothing to
Same.
give you any.
Yep.
Not the birthday
No,
party, but something
but, like,
where they kind of
it's-
make it even more boring at the end. I don't know how some movies manage to do
I
that.
throw away my hope for seeing
Yes,
anything
the
that has
hope
to
is
do
gone.
with the King Arthur.
These kinds of movies manage to like kind of hook you at the beginning just a little bit. Like they have nothing. Like they have nothing literally to hook you with. But they have like, you know, instead of, you know, a full bushy head of hair, they have like one strand of hair. That's all they
right.
have
They're
to
Homer
give.
Simpson.
Here's
That's
the
all they are.
strand.
Homer Simpson.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
you're like,
Homer
okay. And so if you're a 7-year-old like you, Tim, watching, you're like, that's amazing, right?
Yeah.
You're a kid.
I love
And you're like,
legitimate
oh
films.
my goodness.
They got swords and
they have this
mountain
power.
bikes.
But then
That's great.
when they
There are
they
no
create
swords.
some kind of
There's
a
like
plot.
twice. Sorry,
times.
Tim.
But
Sorry,
then
Jake.
past the midway point, like most of these movies, I just don't know how they do that. They manage to make it even more boring.
It is a really
And they
weak
just
third
make up
act. I
some
will agree.
Yeah, they make a really weird ending where they just kind of wrap it up really quick, and
Yeah.
I just don't know how that works. So that's my answer.
Yeah, the birthday party. Remember the birthday party?
It's great. Jokes.
What a great birthday party
Kids
that
got to
was.
go to bathroom.
Remember? Yeah, he
awesome.
gotta go to the bathroom, and he's like, "I don't
just
care what you want."
revisit
and he
my
points his
little
gun,
comment on-
and then there's okay. Go.
Yeah, go. What do you want to say?
No, I just wanted to say that he points his gun at a cow and the cow is like sucking on the gun barrel.
Okay, that's funny. There's another joke that I remember that was pretty funny. I don't think it was meant to be
You
funny.
defending the film now?
Yeah, I'm gonna defend the film.
I thought it was not funny at all.
There's
All right, do it. Come on.
so the party,
bring it on.
So they show a shot of the party happening, and our new guy Luke is sitting next to Jenny, the girl, and the girl
Jenny.
and she says, there's no dialogue, there's music playing, kids are dancing, and she just looks at him and says, "I don't like your music," and he says, "Oh," and that's it. And then the scene moves on.
Honestly, that flew over my head.
It was amazing. It was like, what's happening? That was just a perfect. Who said like, hey, did they say the kid like, hey, say something to him, or was that like an actual line written? What was the point of that line? What was happening?
know.
I don't know. But there was
Why
also
do those
sequence-
knights look like they're having sex on that poster for King and Knightzer's court?
They like
They're married men.
role playing. Yeah. Listen,
Why is he so happy
I want to say,
about
do
it?
you
Enjoys
guys
it.
remember the little scene where the milk gun cow sucking guy,
Okay.
where he was
Stu.
That's him.
His name is Stu.
I know him. He's a great friend.
yes, is it really?
Yeah.
Where Alex did his hijinks and got him hanging upside down with the little rope.
Yes.
Remember? He captured him.
Oh, jeez. I hated.
Honestly,
I hate everything. I'm
that
sorry.
moment was probably the worst acting in the entire film, and it was.
Oh, it was bad.
So,
It was
I
so
can't believe-
bad.
Let me describe it like this: imagine like they're on set, right, and they have this scene prepared, and no offense to the kid, but it's a kid actor who is trying, but
Yeah, you give a little leeway
Yeah.
to it. Yeah.
and the the context is supposed to be that these robbers are dangerous, right?
Yeah.
The kid
They robbed the
has
bank.
to be careful, and I think Home Alone does a good example
Rob
of
the
that, right?
bank.
Because Home Alone has that fine line between
His son got beat up by a beta.
disbelief and you kind of like accept it,
Yeah.
but they also are dangerous enough where you might think that Kevin
If they
might
get him,
captured.
something bad will happen.
Yeah, but here he's hanging upside down, and the kid actor is just saying his lines and taking his sweet time to negotiate with this robber. And the robber, it's like you can tell it's like an adult trying his best to like act in the
He's
scene
trying.
to make it work, but like nothing is working. And that scene to me was just another cringe moment, butt clencher.
Another reason why you should watch Kings of what's it called? Kids of the
Yeah.
Round Table. I got it
I think
right.
everyone's
this time.
like, just like phoning it in, except the three robbers. Like the kids, even Jenny, my childhood
You really
crush,
think the three robbers
sucks
were
at
that-
acting. Honestly,
Yeah. Oh, hey! Speaking of which, have you seen her IMDb?
Still
She's
working.
still working as an
Still
actress. It's amazing. Her name's Maggie
That's-
Castle. Look at her. She's like an
the
adult.
Perfect name for this movie.
She's like an adult.
I mean, that's obvious, but yeah.
So, one thing I just want to point out that I love about this movie, I mean, I learned a lot. It was fun to watch something I haven't seen in such a long time. It's not a good movie, unfortunately, but there's one thing I absolutely love. I love that you get to see
it wasn't fun.
Michael
for me.
Ironside dressed as a Cholo Mexican gangster for some reason from the 90s.
That's true. That's so
And the-
true. That is true. I enjoyed
And the
that as
drip
well.
on Stu, the dumb goon, is spot on. I'm gonna actually steal his look like that. The white T-shirt with the shirt, the black pants, the white sock, and the black shoes, and the hat and the glasses was perfect.
Wait.
I don't know
Stu,
what
the
you're
guy
talking
with the gun, the cow. Sucks.
Yeah, but I don't remember what he looks like.
We're very fresh. We don't know
I
everything
know that
about
this
this
movie
film.
cemented in
you're
your
the-
brain. You have
you're a
all-
Yeah,
scroll
it's got a good look.
master.
I like his look. I'm gonna.
I like the
Oh,
cut
okay,
of his
you're saying it's a
jib.
good look.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's got some good drip. So yeah.
The last comment I wanted to make about this movie is my final note.
Yeah.
And I'll conclude here, as far as I'm concerned, is that ending where I think after everything happens, and the kid, I think even, before he apologizes, Alex, he walks
What?
out in
Does
front
he,
of his
like,
front door.
Scar apologizes, doesn't he?
He also
I think
yes,
so.
yes.
I think so.
By the way, the bully's name is Scar.
'Cause his last name is Scar.
Michael Ironside's son's name is Scar. Yeah. Yeah, whatever. And that's how you put them in line. You take their parents to prison. And
That's how you're true alpha.
That's how you show dominance. That's how you create.
Lines
That's how
in
you
the social
create lines
circles.
in the social circles. Yes, exactly. This is
Absolutely.
how. This is how you.
I think that's the subtext from the movie. And then Alex is walking out in front of his front door, and he's getting ready to walk away. And his dad opens the door. And he goes
Totally
like,
knows how to cook, by the way. This is the second time he's cooking burgers.
He's like, where are you going?
I know.
And listen
the
to this.
grill. The grill's so good.
And listen to this. Alex, like
I love it.
8-year-old kid goes, I need to go for a walk.
Yeah.
And
it's
his
so
dad's
great.
like,
I'm surprised he doesn't have a pack of cigarettes next to him. And
He's
just
gonna smoke. And it's like, oh, he's like, that's not the Alex I know. He's like, anything wrong? He's like, no. He's like, I just got to go think or something. And I'm like, what is going on here? This is like drama times 100.
It's so good. You know what? 90s films with kids
were adults.
involved for some reason had that kind of weird, like they treated them as
seriousness,
adults in a
like
way.
heaviness.
Yeah,
Because at the end, like I
do
said,
you
when
guys
they-
know who the Savage kid? Like, what's his name? Randy Savage? No. Chris.
I know what you mean.
I know
what you
Randy
mean.
Savage.
Do you know what I'm talking
The kid
about?
from Neverending Story? No, what was it?
Wait,
E.T.
I'm
actor.
looking at. There's.
Yeah?
He's in this film called The Wizard. That's what I know, and his name is. Wait. Fred Savage. There's this kid called Fred Savage.
Fred Savage.
Yes, he's a child actor. He was like really popular in the late 80s and early 90s. And like he acted like an adult most of the time. And I think there's this weird thing where because he acted like an adult, I guess we're going to make all the kids act like it. I don't know what I'm talking about, by the way.
I don't know
had
either.
2 whiskeys.
Oh, and he's not in the. He's not in.
I had too much whiskey, so.
The Neverending Story. He's the kid in the Princess Bride, like that's being read the story. That's what.
Yeah. He's that kid.
Shit, I haven't seen this movie
what
in
I
a
wanted
long
to
time.
say
Princess Bride. I used
is
to watch
that
this a
then they
lot as a
go-
kid. Okay, continue.
You did?
Yeah.
Oh, Jacob.
Oh, I missed it.
Me and you, first time we watched it was like 2009, wasn't it?
Watch what?
Princess
Serious?
Bride. Yeah, the
Wow.
first time we ever
Like,
watched Princess
I think
Bride
I
was
watched it at
2009.
school, like in the mid 2000s or something like that.
That's
It
another
was
movie I
interesting
haven't
actually
seen in
because
years.
when that movie, everyone was telling me, everyone at school was
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
you
yeah.
gotta watch it. It's a classic. Everyone's quoting.
It's one of
every
those things that
single
are
line.
classics. Yeah.
And the weirdest thing was when I watched it, even as a kid, I didn't really see how this was such a cult classic. I was
You know
watching
what?
it, I was
Me
like,
too.
It seems like the jokes, I felt like I heard the jokes so much. I was like, it's literally like I feel like the movie is quoting other people quoting the movie. It felt very meta. And
Oh yeah, like you.
and
Okay,
I just
yeah.
kind of couldn't see like nothing was like, making you go, well, this is really funny, all I was seeing was just like quote after quote after quote. So it was a really weird experience.
Yeah, have fun storming the castle, and it's like, yeah, I get it, it's funny, but I don't know because like we have never actually watched it as children, you know what I mean? And there's a lot of people who's like that zeitgeist and that kind of, that it's part of their fabric of pop culture, right? Princess Bride. I think now I'm surprised that actually Tim watched it so many times. So he's part of that, he's part of that community of people, the round table of Princess Bride aficionados. And
The people.
me and Jacob, we just watched it once. I literally watched it one time in my life, and that was in 2009. And our friend Jacob, his name is Drew, and his like younger brother, and we made jiaozi, which is like gyoza, Chinese dumplings, right? And he was sitting next to me, his youngest brother, who was like 9, and we were watching the film. We were watching
point
the
where the
film,
music comes in?
and then he burped in my face, and it was the worst thing in the world because of that Chinese dumpling taste. And
Amazing.
I hated it.
So the moral of the story is
Now you understand how I felt when I watched Spider-Man 2.
Was it a Chinese burp? No, not Chinese burp.
That
What
was
am I
not a Chinese
talking
burp.
about? Chinese dumpling burp.
But-
that's the main thing.
Amazing notes there,
do like
and I
that
love
picture.
the
You're
picture
welcome.
there. Yeah. Before
I'm so
we
sorry,
finish off
everybody.
today,
I had too much
unless
whiskey.
You guys,
I'm sorry.
it's okay.
unless you guys have anything to say,
I do.
about this movie. I just want to know why Philip was so mad.
That's
today.
true, yeah, why were you so mad?
So here's what happened. So we were going to record this tomorrow, and But we were both, me and Jake, we're gonna watch this movie today. So we're like, hey, why don't we just talk about the movie immediately after finishing it? So, it's fresh in the mind, so we can just do it in one sitting. Watch the movie, talk about the movie. And we talked about this in our group chat where Phil was as well.
Phil is in the group chat.
Phil didn't respond to this conversation.
Where we talk about hot topics.
Yeah.
No, we don't. Sometimes you and Tim talk about different things, and then they get...
And Phil has this amazing ability to not read any.
Well, because I noticed that you and Tim were talking to yourselves about other things that aren't necessary. That aren't necessary for me.
Go to the store today.
Shut up. They're unnecessary for me to actually be, that are not important for me to know, so I understand, so I can apply that to my life.
When we talk about the podcast and the schedule,
and it's buried between
you reply.
It's buried between talking about guitars and whatever, and I'm just like, if you just told me importantly, you want to do it today, that would have been great. And also, it's really unfair of you guys talking to me about this when I'm a little bit intoxicated and I can't talk normally.
That's okay.
But Tim, look, in our defense,
so Phil got mad, but now it's all good.
Yeah,
he
Phil
watched
was
it
so
twice the
passive
speed.
aggressive.
I did.
He probably had a better
kept
experience
tagging our
than
names.
Yeah.
But Tim, I think that
I wasn't necessarily mad at
you.
you. I was more mad at the situation because I don't want to be I don't want to be late. I don't want to be not in the know, but I was just so frustrated because I didn't see it,
Didn't read. So
I know. It was
Tim,
very
but I
funny.
have to say, in our defense, we haven't been really talking about guitars and stuff in the group chat. I mean, if you look at the group chat,
true. We tried.
Shut
there's
up.
Phil's links. My
Shut
links,
your
Tim's
mouth.
links.
We don't need this.
If you actually look
Yeah,
at the history of
probably
our personal
you got
chat
the
and
receipts, do you? Do you got the receipts?
We were actually talking about guitars. Meanwhile,
Exactly.
we were
So in a
talking to
private
you.
chat.
There's a new
Yeah, well,
plugin
you
from
should have-
Neural DSP
Exactly.
for
You
Gojira.
should have.
It's
You
amazing.
should have. You should have atted me. You should have mentioned me so I could
Tim,
have gotten
maybe we
that
should tell Phil about
notification
this new
because
Neural
I
DSP
wasn't
amp.
present.
Very important for him.
Yeah. Let's write about it.
Tell me about the Neural
in our
USP amp.
chat.
What is this Neural USP
It's an
amp?
amazing.
It's amazing.
Why is it USP?
These guys are great.
What?
DSP.
it's USB powered.
USB
What does
powered.
DSP even stand for? I wonder.
It's like, I don't want to say because I know another abbreviation that I don't. Okay, we're not talking about. Okay. So let's talk about how
Let's
this
talk
is
about
ending.
let's
And-
talk about the different King Arthur films that exist. So there's this film called King Arthur.
No, we're done. We're done. This is done. I'm finishing this.
So
This is
have you
over.
seen King Arthur and King
Guys,
Kids Court?
Next episode continues
Kids.
Tim's series
Is that
of what
like-
he watched as a kid a long time
King
ago.
Kong
and he'll
versus
discover
King Kids.
again. Tune in next time for that.
No.
Yeah.
Oh man, that
Yeah, we
next
got two
episode's
more
gonna be
of these.
weird when I'm
It's-
sober. It's gonna be sucky.
Maybe next time it's reverse.
It's gonna be the
Tim
same
can
thing.
drink and we'll just take turns.
Oh no, is it gonna be another one of Tim's movies?
Yes.
Yeah, so two more of Tim's movies. So look forward to this
shit.
madness. You can watch Kids of the Round Table made in 1995 on YouTube. Just look it up if you want to watch it. Put it probably on double speed like Phil did. It'd be more exciting that way. Thank you again for
Get ready
listening.
for
You
the
can talk to us on
refresh.
Facebook and Instagram.
Hell yeah, bruh.
Season 2 full podcast. We're there. We're here. We're never
here,
ending. We're
we're
not
left.
dying. We're alive.
The only Excalibur you need is in your heart.
It's in your heart.
It's
Pull
not
it
an
out.
item.
Let it bleed.
It's not a thing you wield.
You're done.
It's the strength of your character.